Good night, Lammings. I hear ya. Are you in the house, Lammings? Let me welcome myself, not a stranger to these parts. Tonight is a bittersweet night for me. And driving up here, I told my better half that I have to come here to represent a very good friend of mine. But I also come here tonight to say that I am losing a very, very good friend of mine from Parliament. And it would be remiss of me to start without recognizing my friend, Dale Marshall, who has done yeoman service for this country and for this constituency. And I think he deserves a round of applause. But it's sweet for me because my good friend, and you will hear me talk about him later in my presentation. But I want to share something with you, the people of Lammings. Some 2 years ago, as I traveled through St. George, South, this young man told me, and it was close to Christmas, yes, this young man told me, come to his house. An ordinary man that looked like me and Ryan, from humble origins in the housing area he came from. And he asked me to come to his house. And I followed his instructions. I went to his house. He said to me, sit, Dwight. I sat. He said to me, I have something for you. I said, what? You know me, I really don't want anything. He said, no, you have to take these. He said, take these chickens. I know you do functions for the elderly every Christmas. You have children's party, take these chickens. I said, but Ricky, I can't. Sorry to call your name. He said, no, Ricky, man, I can buy these. He said, no. These chickens that I'm giving you, you played a part in helping me raise these chickens. I said, wait talk about Ricky. Sometimes, you know, the memory don't take you back to these dear things. But he was a product of the trust fund loan scheme. He got $5,000 from the trust loan scheme back in the year, roughly around 2020. He was one of the 200 in St. George that benefited from Mayor Mortley's brainchild to pump seed capital into a fund to employ people and to give our poor working class people in rural Barbados a chance. And he took that money and he raised chickens. And he sold those chickens. And it was the gratitude that he had that he said to Dwight, take these 10 chickens and use these for your seniors' luncheon. But I say that to say, this government came to office in 2018, and we found ourselves with a number of young people, business people. We knew when supermarkets could not get foreign exchange to buy goods from overseas. We knew when the small businesses were closing down. And that's why the Prime Minister, Mayor Amor Mortley, the best Prime Minister in the Caribbean, and some say one of the best in the world. And she took it upon herself and she said, Dwight, that's your ministry. This is what we have to do. And today, we can boast as a government that we have spent or invested $27 million, close to $28 million, to assist 5,700 young small businesses, not young, old, whatever, 5,700 small businesses in this country. And those are some of the initiatives, one of the initiatives that we use to empower businesses in this country. The small business sector was dying. It was a dying head. In business, we use the term a dying head. And we were able to inject funding to the tune of $28 million after 7 years, and empowering working class people. That young man is now not only raising chickens, but he's raising pigs as well. And I asked him if I can use the story tonight. My wife can tell you on the phone while driving here. He said, yes, Dwight, use it. He has chicken and he had pigs. And I'm sure if you go around Lammings and surrounding districts, I drove through St. Thomas. The people look like me and Ryan. Rural Barbados, we are a representation of rural Barbados from these humble working class people. And I can talk about him later, but I have to keep mentioning him. Fund Access. It is another entity that provides capital for businesses. Fund Access has made some $75 million available to 2,244 small businesses and created over 2,700 jobs in the 25 years since its establishment. Now, if you tell me that is not progress, and if you tell me that is not taking a chance on the ordinary man, and if you tell me that that is not a government that cares about small businesses, and if you tell me that Mayor Morley did not have the vision to invest and to give a chance to these persons in rural Barbados who raise chicken and raise pigs and sheep, and then take them to Carlton and A1 and take them to Popular. That is what we do as a government. And the earnings from those small businesses send school people like me. My grandfather was a butcher. We still have pigs in the backyard. I went to primary school and secondary school as a result of my father raising pigs. He was an artisan. He looked like Ryan and I. He looked like Ryan parents. We are from working class parents. Ryan's father was a builder. Ryan's mother worked in an AB as a caregiver. My mother was a school meal server. My father was an artisan. He looked like me, I looked like he. And that is what Grantley Adams started in St. Joseph, that people like Ryan and I can represent rural Barbados and improve the quality of lives of working class people. But you know, I heard Rommel talk about roads, and I heard Rommel talk about water, Castle Grant, from 375,000 gallons to 1.5 million gallons. We solved the water problem in St. Joseph. I remember in 2013, we were running around with Dale Marshall, every single home, telling us we have water challenges and we solved those. But in 2018, again, the Prime Minister, in giving me the opportunity to lead that Ministry of Business and Commerce, the Barbados National Standard Institute fell under my responsibility then. And I approached the Prime Minister after she named me minister, and I said to her, I have a young man. He's an engineer like me. He went to St. Augustine like me, lived on Canada Hall just like me, and I would like him to be my chairman at BNSI. She said to me, send me his profile. I sent the profile of that young man to Prime Minister Morley, and within 15 minutes of sending the profile, she called me. She didn't WhatsApp. She called and said, yes, Dwight, we want him, you can use him. That was Ryan Braffett, whom I made chairman of BNSI in 2018, and he's still the chairman up to a few weeks ago. Ryan Braffett helped me to transform BNSI into a state-owned entity that reflected all the other SOEs in this country. Ryan Braffett worked to improve the quality standards of several products in this country, work along with CrossQ, which is the standards body in the region, to ensure that Barbados products met international standards as chairman of BNSI. But that in all, you know, from time to time you reshuffle cabinet. And in 2020, Prime Minister asked me to take up the duty of Minister of Sports, Youth Sports and Community Empowerment. And I had to pick a board for the National Sports Council. And I went by a tears out of school. I said I carry along my friend with me. I prepared a cabinet paper and I put Ryan again. The Prime Minister tell me, wherever you're going, you can carry. Left it there now. But Ryan joined me on that board. And Ryan was deputy chairperson of the National Sports Council Board. I can tell you that you, the people of St. Joseph, you had quality representation before. And it has not changed. Because what I see in Ryan Braffett is a businessman and an engineer who has transformed business in this country. You remember the days when you had to get a ticket for a FET? You had to go and line up at CS Pharmacy. Ryan transformed ticketing in this country through ticket links. We now have e-tickets. Similar to how this government was able to transform the liquor license registration and stop you from going and line up at the magistrate's court week after week and coming back and then getting it. I digitized that as Minister of Commerce and Business, and we're able now to get a liquor license for the shop up the road. Some will be going there shortly. You're able to get a liquor license for the shop within less than a week. That is the work the Mayor Mortley-led administration under her guidance, her stewardship, her leadership, we were able to do. Dale Marshall, police certificate of character took people months and years to get. Dale Marshall was able to digitize the process, and you can get a police certificate of character within less than a week. The expungement of charges for persons that were sitting down for years and years and years. Dale Marshall, as Attorney General, he was able to work on expungement for persons because those persons would have done, justice would have been served. And they wanted to carry on their lives. And we said as a government, no. Stopping persons from working because of a charge is not the right thing. They were judged, found guilty, and justice was served. Give the people a chance, another second chance in life. And that is what we did. So in St. Joseph, you've had powerful representation from Grantley Adams. Times. Coming through to Bolden, to Cheltenham, to Dale Marshall, and now to Ryan Braffett. The Barbados Labour Party has always been good to rural Barbados. Ramel spoke about the roads, he spoke about the water, he spoke about the bridges, he spoke about drainage. But I'm here to tell you that the social service network, the work that Minister Humphrey is doing, the increase in old age pension, and the assistance for the elderly through the National Assistant Board. Now the Social Empowerment Agency, you're able now to bring all those agencies into one. Kurt ain't here tonight, so I can do a little bit of prancing up for him. And our elderly, the old ladies in Lammings and the other districts, rural Barbados, the Labour Party continues to look after the interests of the working class people. But I ain't stopped there with Ryan. Ryan, you hear me? That facility to my left, Lammings, it is not in a state, I can't call it a sporting facility, the building, nor a community center. But I know that Ryan and I sat down and we got drawings to make that a state-of-the-art facility. And I know the first thing Ryan will do, because he loves the people in Lammings, I don't want to steal his thunder tonight. But it was my responsibility to ensure that that facility was repaired. But I only had the Ministry of Sports during COVID. But I'm telling you, the drawings have been finalized. And I am telling you that Ryan Braffett will make sure that the people of Lammings get their fair share of a recreational facility so that the young children, like I saw in the Ivy, over 100 young children last night on the pasture, because the facility caters and attract the parents and they send their children to either play football, cricket, or some sport. And the people of Lammings, in very short time, I know the facility here will be up and running and you'll be pleased. But I didn't stop there. As Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, the young man that we have brought to you built one of the finest facilities in this parish of St. Joseph, Hillcrest. He built that, and I'm proud to say to you, he tendered, he won the contract before I was a minister. And when I came in, we worked tirelessly to make sure that Hillcrest, that lovely pristine facility looking over the beach at Bathsheba, one that everyone, people journey to tourists. And that is what we need. Rural Barbados must look like the West Coast so that the tourists can come and enjoy certain aspects of rural Barbados. Like what I did on Sunday, it named the Red Top, the Junction, the Red Junction. I was there. Ryan constituent and my constituent are the partners who opened the Red Junction in Bathsheba on Sunday. And we both were there. The people of Lammings and surrounding districts, I say he looks like me, I look like him. We're from humble origins. We're from working class parents. We're both engineers. He was my constituent. He has left me. Nonetheless, the people of St. George South say to tell you, Ryan, thank you for giving them the opportunity to attend many fests in this country. They thank you, Ryan. And you have done it all over Barbados. So I say he looked like me. He's a friend. He's a brother. We were friends before he entered public life. And we will remain friends while he's in public life and I'm in public life. And we will continue our mandate of providing guidance and support and programs in rural Barbados. We will make sure you know when rural Barbados is in the hands of the Labour Party, that Barbados remain in the hands of the Labour Party. So you, the people of Lammings and surrounding districts, you have a simple task on your hand. Come February 11th, all you have to do is go to the polling station and place your X for development, for progress, place your X for good representation, place your X for good government. We are navigating serious waters as I speak to you. The geopolitical issues and the pressures placed on us from the Western world dictates that we have a strong leader to address these challenges, and there's only one leader in this country that can address these challenges right now, and that's Mayor Amor Motley. There's no other leader. So it is only fair that when you elect Ryan, a son of the soil, a black working class man from working class parents, you will elect Mayor Amor Motley, giving him the vote to carry on the good work in these challenging times. And I know the people of St. George, the people of St. George South and North will make sure that Dwight Sutherland and Tony Moore, that we walk those steps of Parliament yet again. and I want to walk with Tony and Ryan. I know why. God bless you, good night, and thank you.
Somebody